soil of Norfolk County is dead right for tobacco. The loose, sandy loam that absorbs heat so quickly in the daytime cools off just as fast every night. So when the primers hit the fields in the morning, they're bathed in mist and fingers get numb from cold dew that sits in the leaves. The finest morning is still so wet you have to wear slickers or rain capes. They call them rubbers. And then as the sun gets higher in the sky, they sweat underneath. Uncomfortable for men, but the lucky combination of heat and cool and moisture is what the tobacco plant thrives on. When growing conditions are really good, the plant flourishes so exuberantly, it puts out shoots called suckers. And the suckers need to be nipped out by a special gang so that the life of the plant can flow completely into the leaf that is so profitable. You plant tobacco by machine, you can cultivate it by machine, but come harvest time, you bend your back and get to it, for no machine has yet been devised to harvest tobacco. The difficulty is that you can't harvest the plant. You have to pick one leaf at a time when that leaf is ripe. The primers work 6 to a gang and move abreast down the rows to keep up with the boat.
No more, please.
Raw tobacco is heavy stuff, with juicy stalks often as thick as a man's thumb. The moment one boat's loaded, another takes its place, for the essence of the operation is speed. Once a ripe leaf has been picked, it can't be kept waiting.
6 row. You won't even get a boat.
All day long, the boats keep feeding the table gang. Each day, the gang has to make up 1,250 sticks of tobacco, and the tires make 20,000 knots before sunset. The tobacco country is dotted with curing sheds, the kilns, and a kiln has to be filled with raw tobacco every day, whatever the weather. Then the kiln's closed up, and the rest is up to the cure man. Most of the cure men come up for the harvest from the American South. His job is to keep a regulated fire going in the kiln, which will raise the temperature gradually for 5 or 6 days while the green leaf turns golden. And if he makes a mistake, the farmer's lost $1,500 worth of tobacco. Some say once it starts, it's like getting on a treadmill, and you can't stop. The first few days are the worst. The tires, fingers get blistered and raw. Wrists swell up and have to be bandaged. It's mainly women and girls who work on the table gangs. A few boys. But the work is so hard, they're paid as much as the primers in the field. The first few days are the hardest for the men, too. They say the trick is, once you bend over and get going, stay that way. Don't keep straightening up, because that's what gets you in the bank.
Come on here, you big hunk of meat.
My back still aches when I hear that word. While away down southern Ontario, I never had a nickel or a dime to show. A fella beeped up in an automobile. He said, "You wanna work in the tobacco fields of Tillsonburg."
Tillsonburg,
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 my back still aches when I hear that word. He said, "I'll only give you $7 a day, but if you're any good, you get a raise in pay. Your bed's already on the bunkhouse floor. If it gets a little chilly, you can close the door." Tillsonburg,
Tillsonburg,
it was Tillsonburg.
Tillsonburg,
My back still aches
when I hear that word.
I was feeling in the morning anything but fine. The farmer said, "I'm gonna teach you how to prime." He said, "You gotta don a pair of oilskin pants if you wanna work in the tobacco plants of Tillsonburg."
Tillsonburg,
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 my back still aches
when I hear that
word. We landed in a field that was long and wide, with one old horse and 5 more guys. I asked him where to find the cigarette trees. When he said bend over, I was ready to leave. Tillsonburg,
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 my back still aches
when I hear that word.
He said to pick just the bottom leaves and don't start crawling on your hands and knees. Prime your row, 'cause you'll get no pay for standing there picking at your nose all day round Tillsonburg.
Tillsonburg,
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 my back still aches
when I hear that
word. With a broken back bending over there, I was wet right through to the underwear, and it was stuck to my skin like glue from the nicotine tar and the morning dew of Tillsonburg.
Tillsonburg,
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 my back still aches
when I hear that
word. Now the nearest river was 2 miles from the place they were waiting for the boat to come. When I heard some talk about making the kill, I was down the highway and over the hill from Tillsonburg.
Tillsonburg,
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 my back still aches
when I hear that
word. Now there's one thing you can always bet: if I never smoke another cigarette, I might get taken in a lot of deals, but I won't go work in the tobacco fields of Tillsonburg.
Tillsonburg,
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 my back still aches
when I hear that
word. My back still aches
when I hear that
word. My back still aches
when I hear that
word. My back still aches
when I hear that
word.